Okay, so welcome to the first creator interview of the British Web Awards 2022. And today we are joined by Lauren McCann, the writer, director, and star of GirlBoxer.
Hey,
how are
thank
you?
you for having me. I'm great.
I just wanted to say as well, when the first year's festival finished, GirlBoxer was the first entry that we had for the next year. It was something like like a week or something after the festival. You were the first entry, so it's really nice that you're the first creator interview of this season as well. So that's great. So so just tell us a bit about yourself. What's your background then, Lauren? How did you get into kind of what was your first step? Was it kind of into acting first, or directing, or writing? What's your journey? What was your journey?
Well, so I'm Canadian and found myself in New York in a roundabout way, but I think it was all kind of meant to be. So when I was quite young, early 20s, I was in Canada and I was studying to be an actor, and everyone said, go to New York, you know, Montreal's not going to hold you, kind of thing. But I wanted to finish school, and I was studying teaching. So I wanted to finish my degree. I was done. Friends went out to LA. They did really well, which makes you wonder, but I can't complain, right? I wanted to travel. So I traveled, and in my travels, I met my now husband. It's been 20 years from Poland. And I found myself moving to Poland. Then we moved to France. Like, we went all over the world. And I ended up getting my doctorate in education. And I put acting to the side. I put everything about film to the side. And in that roundabout way, through his work, we ended up in New York. And a girlfriend of mine said, isn't that funny? Wasn't your hopes, 20 years ago to move to New York and try this acting thing? You're here. Why don't you do it? And I just had my first child, and I thought, I need an outlet to just be human. And then I started taking acting classes, and the rest is history. I came back to what I initially wanted to do, and I wasn't allowed to teach in the United States yet because I didn't have a visa. So I just did free student films, and the stuff that you do, I guess, normally, even if you can work, you do unpaid work for so long. So I started building everything up, and then got a visa, then got a green card, and here I am.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's because we've all got to do different jobs in life to try and allow ourselves to do what really makes us happy, isn't it? Which is with a lot of us, especially in the web series community, is anything creative, and that's what it is. So how did so you that was your trip into kind of acting then? You kind of followed that bug, you went into kind of acting classes, and then got whatever work you kind of could do, free or paid or whatever, just to kind of practice your art and stuff, like you say a lot of people do. So when did you think, do you know what, I wouldn't mind having a crack at writing. I wouldn't mind kind of creating my own stories. How did that kind of bug come about there?
So that really started with my need as an actor, because even though I'm in my kid's bedroom hiding right now, even though I am a stay-at-home mom, I used to teach kindergarten. I had casting say to me, you don't look like a soccer mom. You won't really get cast that way. Generally speaking, they're going to take the all-American girl next to, me. And
would you say you're more of a character actress then? Would you say then, or?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know yet, right? I
don't even really know what that means.
So I wanted to play the role that could encompass both things, right? I could be the mom that is loving, that I could also show this harder part to me, which I think most women have within themselves anyway. At a drop of a dime, I could, snap your neck if you're going to hurt my family and hurt my kids. And that's what this sort of story is about. How far would you go for the love of your family? So I wrote it myself, and then found, being a doctor, I used to do a lot of writing. So mostly academic writing. However, I'm just so visual, and I've learned that the way that I write is what's called a director's script. People don't necessarily say it's proper, but I just write what I see. And because when I was writing it down and it is so visual, it just lent itself very easily to actually doing it and getting it made, and took the jump and went for it.
Wow. Okay. Why don't you take this opportunity now to just pitch us, in case anyone's silly enough not to have seen GirlBoxer? Why don't you just pitch us? What's the log line or pitch of GirlBoxer?
Yeah, so you have Lauren, ha ha ha, who who is trying to figure things out and make a better life for her daughter. Her husband's really not in the picture. She does have a background as a champion boxer when she was younger, and she finds herself in a position where she could make some money if she decides to partake in some bare knuckle boxing, gambling situations. And behind the scenes, there's a lot going on that's unknown to her. And I don't want to spoil it, but there's a lot of different characters at play. And the whole overriding idea is that love of family, and how far would you go? And is it considered wrong if you really do have the best intentions when it comes to when how wrong is wrong? So I love writing these characters that aren't, very multidimensional. I like to think that everybody is a little good and everybody is a little bad. So she finds herself bare knuckle boxing, and can I swear?
Of course you can. Fuck it.
Shit goes down.
Shit goes down. It does. Was this the first thing you'd kind of written then, by the sounds of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's extraordinary. Extraordinary. And then going into directing, what was that just kind of like you say, because you kind of visualized it? Was you then thinking, okay, I've got it in my head. I wouldn't mind a crack at directing this as well, because you've got it in your head. You might be the best person there to bring it to reality, really.
It was my husband who said, because I was going to have a friend do it and everything, because in my mind too, new to this whole thing, directing, like, that's big, man.
Yeah.
And he just said, well, it's your story. who else knows it better than you? Why don't you just do it? Okay, I'll just do it.
And was it the first thing as well that you directed as well?
Yeah, my first everything.
Do you not think that's just extraordinary then? Because it's we got it first. Like I say, it was the first thing we got submitted, and you get something, you always kind of hold your breath. You think, right, what have we got? And you've got a box of criteria to tick. Story, characters, direction, quality. And it was just tick, 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 tick. It starts. It's beautiful quality. It's a great story. The music was good, and everyone's fantastic in it. That's a bit of a home run, isn't it, for your first?
Absolutely. I was named the voice to watch from Series Fest that year, as they gave me a special jury prize that, for a first time filmmaker writer, that this ticks all the boxes. But I mean, I couldn't have done it myself. I made sure, and something I've learned in my old age, that I have to surround myself with people that know more than I do. And I ensured that, the people I was working with weren't only talented, but they were just good people. So, Dominic Savilli is the DP. He's a genius. And he will go on. I don't know if I can afford him anymore. But he was also just a good guy. And when I didn't understand something, and when I didn't, I couldn't figure out, he would just jump on in and take the lead, and there was no issue that he was teaching the director something, and it just became so in sync over, I think we did 4 days, that he and I would just look at each other, and he would, got it, we don't need that angle in there. And so he really helped me and taught me throughout the whole process.
So let's go back a second and see if you've got your script. You're going to try and tackle it yourself and direct it, which obviously you have done in the home run. What was your first steps in of kind of assembling the production? Did you go for crew first? Did you think, how did you go about hiring? Did you have, fired 100 questions at you? Did you have a budget in mind when you started? What was the beginning of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I had a budget. My first thing was the DP, because as an actor doing all these indie films for free, before I did anything myself, I understood if it doesn't look good and you can't hear it, it's not even worth it. So,
oh boy, you've summed that up perfectly. That's perfect. Yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to do was find somebody who got it, and I have a very specific aesthetic, and I wanted a DP who used that sort of the darkness, the shadows, the extra fake lighting almost in some situations to create a mood. And I just asked around various friends that I had and was given a whole bunch of different names. And as soon as I saw Dom's work, that's my guy.
That's the one.
I gotta work with him, and I really built my budget around him.
Well,
and that, looking back and having people look at my breakdown of costs, it's like, well, you're spending a little more than a first production normally would for a DP. And I said, well, he's making my movie.
Especially, so you got your DP, which is obviously the engine of the film, isn't it? That's that's the engine of the whole thing. There. What about casting? Obviously, so had you built up any contacts in terms of working freelance for a while, or also because you're in New York, there must be lots and lots of resources for fantastic actors everywhere, you would think, similar to LA, I'd imagine. But
I had met, most people in GirlBoxer are people that I knew personally, that I'd met, that I'd worked with before. I loved casting. A couple of people I hadn't worked with before, but as soon as I saw their image, I knew, like the man David Sittler, who plays the older gentleman with the big beard, and he just has this intensity and power to him, and I needed to meet him first. That's what I did with everybody. I didn't just look at the work you did. I sat and I had a coffee and said, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is the kind of movie it's going to be. And initially I didn't have much words for him at all, and I said, you're a force in this whole thing, and so much more to come on what's up next for GirlBoxer kind of thing. Are you okay if you don't have lines? Because a lot of actors want to talk a lot,
Of course, yeah.
And he was fine with that. And obviously he had some lines in the end as it developed, but that's the kind of person you want, someone that's there for the project and not necessarily for their spotlight.
Again, like character actors almost, because everyone there looks like amazing, like like they've all part of that world, isn't it, that you've created? So it's amazing. Was there any influences in GirlBoxer, like first time director? Was there any influences of other films or things that you thought, yeah, I want to try and bring some of that in? Or
of course, I'm a huge Guy Ritchie fan.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the Guy Ritchie, Quentin Tarantino, and in my mind, like, that's where I want to go with my filmmaking. It's such a boys' club, and why does it have to be? So I want to make a woman's voice, a female sort of eye on those kind of films.
Just a bit of trivia, which I think is outstanding about last year's British Web Awards. There was 70% female directors in the British Web Awards last year. Yeah, just the way it worked out. Absolutely tremendous, isn't it? And I think that's what's coming through the web world. So that's tremendous. Just as you mentioned that, I said that it was only after the festival I went through all the different categories and I realized, there was 70% female directors. I think it's extraordinary. It's wonderful to get involved in it.
You need someone to multitask and get things done very often.
I completely agree. Completely agree. So I'm the opposite. One thing at a time.
Yeah.
And that's not how it works, is it? You need to completely multitask. So you've got your DP, you've got your cast, you've got your crew, you've got your actors and everything like that. how did locations come about? How did you decide where you wanted to shoot?
So, I mean, especially in the indie world, your locations are what's available.
Yes. Yeah.
So one of the great ideas that we had was I wanted a jail. Renting a jail anywhere near New York is insanely expensive. So I really had to think out of the box, because you want to portray the idea of jail. It doesn't have to be a jail, right?
Yeah.
So we just got really big guys who I'd met and worked with before, bought some orange jumpsuit on Amazon that I could later return. And we filmed it in the basement of my apartment, because there's washing machines and things, right? Jailers do washing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just in doing that, you give the idea of jail. You don't need to have bars and all that stuff, right? So that was the jail. I'm very familiar with everybody in my apartment building. New York tends to be, especially us, we don't have family here, so you make your family, the people in our building. And all the interior apartments were various apartments in my apartment complex. We're buildings, not really a complex. And the boxing gym is a women's boxing gym in Harlem. And then the pub, this was a great story. We had somewhere booked literally a week before we were going to shoot. They closed, not like for the day, they closed. And we had lost our location. So we've already got everybody set for our schedule. We have equipment rented, everything. And now I need to find a new pub. And we had scheduled it on a Friday. So how many Irish pubs are going to close for you on a Friday? Well, we went to this Irish area in Queens called Woodside, and I brought my secret weapons. He's one of them, right? He was very little at the time. So I strapped him to my back and I pushed my daughter in a stroller and I knocked on doors at pubs. And it's amazing. And I really believe in just communication of people. And if I had picked up a phone, they would have hung up on me. But here I am with a little girl jumping at the pub, bar saying, "Can I have an orange juice, please?" 3 out of 4 of the owners agreed. So in the end, we took the cheapest one. He threw us the keys and said, "Don't burn it down."
And there you go. Perfect. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
I think he just wanted days off as well, don't they? I guess. Tremendous, but I'm a big fan of like guerrilla filmmaking and stuff like that. I think that's the funnest time you'll ever have making films and stuff, isn't it? When you do it like that, and yeah, huge fan of that. So any little stories that I think tremendous, and they're what make it fun, isn't it? And it goes back again to collaborating with people that love doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's terrific. So that's one funny story from the journey. What would you say was your favorite day of working on your project, whether it was from an acting, writing, or directing perspective? What was your favorite day?
I guess my favorite day, I mean, it just all meshes into one concept at the end. But to bring it really down, I guess would be the day at the boxing gym, where we had the ring, we had all these extras. It was a big day. We had like a good 100 extras. And I like to think that my background as a teacher really helps me as a director, because
the
teacher's job is to organize people, to talk specifically to different groups, make everybody feel in their own way, comfortable, invited. And I still have extras from that day who still write to me and still like talk to me and thank me for having them on
great.
set. And it really felt like I was making a real movie, So after that day, and I was off shooting, so that really just brought everything together.
Tremendous. That was a big it was a big set piece, wasn't it? And because of the title as well, those sequences need to be bob on, otherwise and you pulled it off again, didn't you? They were tremendous.
I'm very lucky again. It just so happened, I didn't know this. So the Nora, who was the opponent, her husband at the time is a stuntman and a fight coordinator.
Oh my goodness, right.
So that worked really well. And then our DP also is a huge wrestling fan. And Dom does work for different wrestling associations, so he knows how to film fighting. I mean, it all, it just came together in a very natural way.
And when it's fate, that's what happens, isn't it? You know what I mean? When you follow your ideas and follow your dreams, and then hopefully the universe collides with you and stuff, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And what about the kind of editing journey of it? Did you take a ton of that? Did you get an editor involved, or what was the journey of that?
So the DP, Dominic Savelli, he edited the work. He made a little teaser. It was just so good. Do you want to edit the film? And he knew the world. He was there. So I couldn't think of anybody that would be better to take it on. And yeah, I mean, I had great memories of doing it because I had my kids with me at the time too. So we would go to Don's house, all of us, and he would spend some time and play video games with my daughter, and we'd get a big cookie from the place downstairs, and we would then let her play the video games, have a cookie, and then Dom and I would work. So great memories. I could never be an editor. I think it's tedious. I hats off to people who do it. So
it's I say editing is a job of 1,000 jobs. That's, and you can literally throw hours and hours at it and achieve very little but very important steps. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's the time thief as well, I've called it. You can just,
as you can see, I don't have like a few hours to myself to string together. So to be able to sit and edit an entire film,
oh boy, no, you need hours and hours and hours. Yeah, it's just madness. So yeah, you're done right. Well, it's saying again, it's been edited very tightly. How much kind of influence then did you have with the edit? Did you just check in? Did you have major notes, or did you just think, yeah, that's my vision?
Yeah, no big major notes. It was things to cut. Like I had a whole scene that we cut. I really wanted all the bad guys to be seen as just humans. So Brian, who plays oh my gosh, what's his name in the film? I forget now.
Been a while.
It has. I didn't have much about his background, and I had a whole scene of him with his dog at home, loving this dog and feeding it and saying goodbye before the fight, and it just didn't serve the whole little short. So like we took that whole bit away. Little things like that. It was a question of what to take out, not a question of what we needed to manipulate.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, say it's a collaborative journey, isn't it? But was that the moment then where you could kind of really see the vision and think, yep, there it is. That's what I had in my head when I started writing this at the very beginning. There Absolutely. It is.
Yeah, it was crazy to see.
Madness. So take that moment and let's try and skip a little bit ahead to kind of like what was it like the first time you saw it on like a big screen then, like at a screening or something like that? What was that sensation like?
It was pretty awesome. We had a private screening not too far from my place, and we invited everybody who was involved, and we had a big sort of Q&A after and invited everybody to talk, and you could just see that it was just such a supportive night. It's up there with having my children and running the first New York Marathon. It's just a feeling that it encompasses you. You can't really explain it.
Yeah, it's the moment. So then let's backtrack again a little bit, just leading up to that. And then, so you finished it, you've wrapped, you've got your edit. What was then the next thing? Then did you think, right, let's see what happens on the festival circuit, or let's see what happens, or did you ever think of a sales agent or anything, or was it just purely festivals? What was your thing there?
Right now, I've done, I did the festivals for it. I'm done with the festivals for it. I have mapped out an 8-episode sort of limited series from it. made a pitch deck. I had a chance to pitch to Viacom, which was kind of exciting.
Yeah, yeah,
They didn't really get back to me, but I keep writing to them.
yeah, yeah.
And it's the type of thing where I'm just not familiar with that world. So it's a bit difficult, but I've also written it as a feature that I finished.
Oh,
So I
great.
have two choices now, and the script of the feature I've started to put into a few festivals, and I just got notice that I'm a quarter finalist for the Nashville Film Festival, which is a big one. Over 50
Tremendous.
years
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been around, and it's Oscar qualifying. So it's
There you go. Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Well, if you don't try, you don't know, do you? And you've got to throw it in the ring there.
Yeah, maybe I need to find a sales agent. Can't do
Well,
everything.
no, literally, no. It's what they're there for, and like you say, in the industry, there's a lot of people that they call, the gatekeepers, don't they? They
Yeah.
just to stop you getting through the door. There's all these people necessarily there, but your work is absolutely terrific what you've made, and I'm sure you've heard this before. It's as good as anything you'll see on TV, and the quality has paid off, and it looks absolutely terrific. When we started watching it, we thought this is a treat. You know what I mean? It's like this is a treat. This is great. Yeah, it's great. But it's like watching a TV channel. I think this is awesome, and that was the first entry into the festival. Like, wow, we're off to a flying start. For things there. Just talking about festivals, was there any particular good festivals you applied to?
I have to say, I mean, it was really upsetting for a first-time filmmaker to really have a virtual run.
Oh, yeah.
I am such a people person. I love humans.
Yeah.
I like to think that part of all my films is kind of me, and the whole networking thing, I missed out on all of it. So I got a virtual experience, and I have to say the British Web Awards was the most put together virtual festival that I experienced. It really felt personal. It felt like you all cared a lot about what you were doing. And you could see that a lot of time was spent in doing it. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very sweet. That's very sweet. Yeah, it's we tried to make it all about the filmmakers and stuff, and yeah, that's and again the problem with the virtual things, like you say, is you don't always kind of get feedback. So when you hear things like that, you think, oh, that's why we do it, and you hear nice things like that. So that's lovely. And again, that first year we did it all in lockdown. So there's another reason we decided to try and do things like this, because we actually get to then talk to the filmmaker, and it's like, I've seen you in all your episodes, and I actually get to meet you, and you get to like pick your brain as well, and so yeah, so it's a joy. It's a joy to do, and like you say, just interacting with people. So it's what makes it all about, because we're all creative, and we're all trying to get involved in that. So that's terrific. So you've got this one, it's in the can, you've got a feature film script, you've got all sorts there. Is there any new project? Is there any idea in the back of the head? Think I wouldn't mind going. What have you got? I've seen a nod.
Yes, of course. I mean, it was hard because, especially as a creative, when everything was locked down, I would see all my friends, oh, I've done this and this and this and this. And my reality, I was potty training and homeschooling and making sure we weren't killing ourselves in a Manhattan apartment, So my creativity, but like, it was there. It was a little bit there, but I managed to write the feature. So that's what I did during most of the lockdown. And then also, I always have ideas, and so I thought, you know what, I did it before, I could do it again. Let's just write it. I'll just do it. So I'm hoping to film this one at the end of August, early September, and it's called Miss Pink. A little too Reservoir Dogsy for me. I don't know if I like that title, but it's the whole idea. This whole idea of a duality in women. So you are the loving mother, but then also she is aspiring to join the secret band of assassins. And you see her little journey in her acceptance into this club.
Well, I like the idea. I like the title as well. It's good.
Yeah,
I think
so
that's
I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I've just through online, I've met with this urban art house films filmmaker named Roman, who just has that same aesthetic that I do too. And he and I really just mesh with visuals and the whole idea of kind of violent films. He thinks it's quite funny that I like all these violent, bloody stuff. Maybe it's just because I'm in a sandbox all day. I don't know, got to get my aggression out somehow.
no,
But he does the same idea of film, but with a lot of comedy in there. So he's going to partner with me on this one, and I think it'll be fun. I'm even going more guerrilla, like
terrific.
You know, different times, different budgets. So we're just doing what we can, and I think it'll be good.
Honestly, you know what you're doing, and when you do that, you can lower the budget, and you can literally, you just once you've got it in your head, you can go out and do it. So it's terrific. And again, it's a low budget filmmaking is the most fun you'll ever have. You know, because that's when you need ultra creativity, and you probably find out a lot of people, you know, in the up there don't have the creativity because they've just got a checkbook to solve all the problems. You know what I mean? And it's the creativity.
Turning my basement into a restaurant with an ill repute at the back.
It's
I
true.
won't invite my neighbors.
That's what we've done. No, it's terrific. So I'm looking forward to seeing Miss Pink when that comes out. That's great there. I think that's everything I've got written down. I think that's great. That's your future plans, and that's terrific. And also, apart from that, when I was just doing some research before, you've also you're doing quite a lot of acting still, aren't you? Now at the minute, it's picked up. Seen a credit in the Equalizer, I saw as well.
That was awesome. That was my first official real credit.
As Karen.
I play a Karen. I really do. And it's so funny when people meet me and they're like, "You're just so sweet. How do you come across being such a bitch?" And that, I mean, it was just a short audition, one line. It ended up giving me 4 days on set. The director was just wonderful. I had so much fun playing, and he just let me play. And at the end, he said, "I'm going to remember you." I said, "Yeah, if you need a sneaky bitch, you let me know."
Oh, isn't that fantastic? You know what I mean? Things are coming together.
And then I also filmed this. I'm hoping we'll find out, I guess in the next month or two, an NBC pilot called Blank Slate. I mean, they went all the way with this. They shut down Times Square to do filming.
Oh, wow.
And I play a torture doctor.
Fantastic, isn't it? Again, it keeps going back to this aggressiveness, but
I
know. You seem so happy and nice.
I am.
I am. That's terrific. It's like I said, I've just got your filmography up now, so there's loads of stuff coming up, isn't there? That's fantastic. So yeah, and well, which is what you want, isn't it? Like you say, you've had the, joining that. So you just say, did GirlBoxer help get an agent, or did you already have an agent, or was that a good? Has it helped? Has your web series helped in any way to get parts and stuff? Or
absolutely. It almost gives you like street cred. You go and meet casting directors, and I mean, I'm older than a lot of people that are going in and meeting, casting. And I like to think I got a good head on my shoulders. I'm interesting to talk to. So I'm not even just going to talk about acting now. I'm going to talk about, well, I wrote a movie. I made a movie. I know what goes behind it. And it just almost puts you at this other playing field that she's not a one-trick pony kind of thing. She gets the whole idea. And I think in making those kind of, your web series, it also puts you on a team position. You're not just a hired actor coming in to say that one line. You know what it means. It's important that everybody's on the same page and you're there for the project. So in doing that, I think in hiring different actors, you're going to pick the person who gets the big picture and not necessarily the one line.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's great. Well, it's remarkable, isn't it? How it all comes together. And again, goes back to creativity and working with people and having that mindset. And and I always say it's amazing how by following your passion and what you want to do, it almost always leads to a stepping stone of more great stuff, doesn't it? It's just, you never really go far wrong if you just follow what you want to do. It always seems to connect.
My dissertation was called Not Without Joy, and it was the whole idea of teaching through your joy. And if you do it that way, you're going to be successful in the classroom, and the kids are going to feel your passion. And that's just such a thing in life. And I've discovered now with directing and filmmaking too, if you're not loving what you're doing, everyone's going to be not in their best spirits or moods. It's not going to create a good environment. You're not going to get a good end product. So it's that joy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Just as a side note, I have my graduation tomorrow, my teaching degree tomorrow. So I've got when you were talking about it, I thought, oh yes, I know about promoting positive behavior.
Yes, absolutely.
As you get a chair chucked to your head. But like you say, I
stuck to my head.
I was going to say, I bet it's that easy afterwards, but it's but even that is even teaching, like you say. I imagine when I'd been directing for as long as you have, and you're helping first-time actors and stuff with the lines and that's basically teaching again, isn't it? Everything's interlinked. You can take bits of directing, put it into teaching, bits of teaching, put it into that. It's just so remarkable. Everything's relatable, isn't it? So. And
it's so true, because I later heard some of the actors, were so prepared, and it was, I want to do it for Lauren. Like, we need to do this movie. And that's what you want with your students too. Like, I want her to come to make Miss McCann, like, make her happy, not necessarily, I mean, you get it if you're into teaching.
Yeah. I know, but I love the link there. Like you say, if you kind of have the respect of the people you're working with, then they do want to kind of, work together and do the best they can do and not let you down and stuff. So it's again goes back to you and you as a person, doesn't it, really? So, and you've obviously done that and created that on GirlBoxer, and I'm sure you're going to have the same success, if not more, on Miss Pink when you get going with that. So it's tremendous, and hopefully we'll get to see that one way or another when it's done and stuff. And
2013.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, that's been absolutely fantastic meeting you and talking to you and hearing the insights of, like, say, what we've been up to. And that's kind of what we miss by not having, seeing people in life. But this has been fantastic. And
thank you, Chris.
It's been a pleasure. And again, very excited to follow your success and to see what you come up with next, really. So,
me too.
And like I say, want to come back on and talk about anything, we can do anything else and chat again. So that'd be lovely to hear what you're up to.
Thank you so much.
All right, pleasure. All right, well, we'll speak soon. Okay, take care. Bye.